Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we kept going with the Void Crusade. We had to stop to do a seasonal mission, so that's all reset and waiting to get powered up. But we will keep going with this mission here. A Callous Hunt. Okay, that's easy. Okay, that's tolerable. No damage ups, no resistances. Okay. So if you haven't been following the news for gaming lately, the devs for Saints Row shut down Volition. Which, on one hand, is really funny. I don't like laughing at people losing their jobs. That's unfortunate, especially in the economy right now. Losing a job is an absolute kick in the teeth. That said, literally everyone and their mother said, don't make this version of Saints Row. People kept saying, hey, this game looks like trash, don't do it. And the second you see, oh, we're making sure to punch down with our comedy, it's like, or punch up, that's what it is. We're making sure to punch up with our comedy, it's like, you shut up. Just shut up. Like, at that point, you've already lost people because you're going in with a certain ideological bias. Not having any of the old characters. I just wanted Johnny Gat to come back. I want to say he was voiced by Daniel Day Kim, and I like the character. I just wanted to do some gang shit. That's all I wanted. But instead it's college students who become gang members and the main character becomes a mercenary to deal with student debt. People really don't understand. You can't just join mercenary companies. Like, they hire people who are trained to do shit. The only way you might be able to get into one is if you are a licensed armorer, which means you have been trained to maintain weaponry. That is really the only way you're getting in if you don't have previous military or previous, like, police experience. God, I hate running backwards because your guy, like, tries to snapshot, but he always cuts it super wide. Yeah, buddy, I wanted to shoot the rockets forward. That's exactly what I wanted. Sometimes, man. Sometimes this game is just absolute butt cheeks. But Volition, they're gone now, which is shocking. But I don't necessarily blame Embracer for shutting them down. Like people have said, and I think it's the best descriptor, and I've said before, the studio that we remember is not the studio now. Game studios are the closest thing to Theseus's ship as we're ever going to come across. Which, for anybody who doesn't know that whole philosophical thing, Theseus's ship is the idea of, if Theseus leaves to travel and do his whole adventuring, like in, I believe it was, no, Odysseus was Iliad and the Odyssey, but travels to go on adventures. As he travels, his ship gets damaged and he repairs it with wrecks that he finds, with flotsam and jetsam, with driftwood, whatever he can get his hands on. By the time he returns, not a single board or nail of his ship is the original. The question becomes, is that ship his ship? And it's the question of kind of are we the sum of our parts, or, what are we kind of deal? Can something be changed while still look the same and be considered the thing? Or what defines objects, and to a degree you can apply it to people? And that's what game studios are. They change people in and out, your leads come and go, your talent comes and goes. People get recruited, people get poached, essentially. So, the studio isn't who it was. But I don't blame Embracer for dumping it off. That game, even though they're like, oh, we're okay with the sales, I think that was just kind of the corporate speak of, we're really pissed, but we don't want to say anything. Which, I don't blame them, it's demoralizing. But at the same time, this is something where people saw this coming. And the biggest part that bugs me is, you saw this on Twitter, whoever their social media person was, not a bright person. Because it's the same or similar thing to what happened with Battlefield 5, whatever you want to call it, where they sat there for Saints. People said, hey, don't do this is going to be bad. And whoever their social media person is did the whole, sunglasses gif from 2012, deal with it, kind of cope, seethe, mauled kind of deal. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Which, that part especially is what happened with Battlefield. It was stupid then, it's stupid now. Whoever in their right mind was told, yeah, you can say that shit, really needs to be told not to. Because when you tell people, hey, don't buy our product, the people who are pissed off enough just won't. You don't have to beg and plead, but you never tell someone, don't buy our thing. Just pull a Big Lebowski and say, oh, that's just your opinion, man. Leave it at that. That may come off condescending, but it's better than just being like, don't buy it. Idiots. But in the end, I'm not really surprised that it happened. I know Saints is still going to be developed by other studios. All of Volition stuff just is getting moved around. It'll be interesting, especially because as I'm saying this, I'm thinking, who owns the rights to Army of Two? Is that still EA? Because I remember Volition made, I think, Devil's Cartel. And if they managed to keep the rights to that, that would mean potentially Embracer could make a new Army of Two game, which would be pretty cool. I do remember seeing a while back, there was a video kind of like, hey, what happened to Army of Two? And apparently there was work on a sequel called Army of Four. And I was like, that kind of ruins it. That was what I loved about the original Army of Two, was people were kind of dent heads and they're like, oh, it's just because of that, because you're two people. But they also had the kind of cool bit of tying it into, at the end, creating a company, Trans World Operations 2. So the whole Army of Two thing kind of comes together. but people don't pay attention to that part and ignore the, I think, kind of smart naming thing they did. Hell, I remember back in Dust 514, I wanted to make a corporation called Trans World Operations, but I think it was already taken, which was a real bummer. But we'll have to see just what, in the end, what Embracer does now with all the stuff. Because realistically, Embracer has a lot. I mean, they're the ones behind Saber. So, they're kind of, in the grand scheme, behind Space Marine. They've really kind of become a big name. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Kind of wondering what else is going to happen with, like, companies like Tencent. Because I believe they are backing the studio behind the new Delta Force game. Which, if you didn't know, yeah, there's a new Delta Force game. It's not made by the original devs. It's a completely new studio. It's Timi, T-I-M-I, Timmy. The studio made, like, COD Mobile, but I'm kind of worried because the way they painted it is it's going to be like kind of a hero shooter, but hopefully it's kind of subdued. I guess in the end it can work, grand scheme of things, because, like, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 weren't bad games. I just hate, like, jetpacks and wall running. I think it's annoying. I find jetpacks tend to contribute to some of the worst, like, mannerisms in players. Mostly because of all my experiences in, like, PlanetSide, where you get just idiots hiding in trees and C4 fairies and all of that kind of stuff. Just, it wears on you. The only good part was I used to, in PlanetSide, farm idiots by just setting up turrets, like the auto turret, and they would just zip in like, I'm gonna throw C4, and then auto turret would just hose them down. But you can only do that so many times before they start learning slowly. But so I don't like jetpacks, and I get some people like high-speed crackhead movement, like in, like, Titanfall. I don't. I think that degree of high-speed movement really starts to take away from the game. Because we saw that in, like, X-Defiant, even, in the beta stuff, where you get these guys who, they've mastered movement tech, but then they're just, like, hip firing and sliding into your colon because that's the only way they can land enough shots to kill someone. And it's just like, dude, aim, dumbass, aim. It just also reinforces my use of claymores and other proximity explosives. If you can't learn how to shoot me from range, I'm going to just force you into a minefield. Or when games that are... Any game that does it is an absolute peach, and I love them. Whenever a game includes poison gas. Because I channel my inner Skaven and just whip that shit like I'm a poison wind globadier. But yeah, so new Delta Force game. It's early enough that we can't really say a lot. It's supposed to come out this year. I'll believe it when I see it. But I'll do some gameplay. Since it's free to play, I'll give it a whirl, see what it's like. Who knows, maybe it'll be like a couple weeks or a month of videos. Or they might just be some bonus videos I toss together once in a while. Depends on when it comes out, how far I am in Remnant, depending on if Helldivers is out, because I'll be playing Helldivers a good amount. Rescue those guardsmen just to leave. Oh well. I was about to ask if I had collected that info fragment. Good thing it showed that I did. Okay, got some junk. What's our seasonal mission looking like? We can squeeze out another mission or two at this rate and then get that done. Okay, nothing. Cool. Just kind of speed run that then. Extra point. What do we want to put it into? Suppression, or not suppression. HP is always good. But damage is pretty neat. And 50% damage bonus against elite and boss enemies. That could be very, very useful. Just keep knocking on this skill set and we'll get to maxing out with dirty fighting. Funny enough though, I'm not really needing this because my plasma gun is just dumping on guys and just shredding them. But I know if I were to say, forget it, we're gonna remove all these or stop going through the skill tree, that is when I'm going to start needing it again. So I might as well just roll with it now. Plus, I don't really know what else I'd build into. Yeah, well, I'm stupid. Let's just keep going. Continuous warp damage per second. That's annoying. Increased damage bonus. Yeah, we're gonna skip that one. Increased health for elites. We'll accept it. I think I just T-bolt of authority'd these guys, yeah. I'll take it. And I just leveled up again. You know, that's fine. I'll take level ups. Just gets me my damage boosting stuff faster, and that's really about it. It does suck because it means my damage is gonna fall off a bit faster, but not much I can do about it. As of this recording, I saw we're supposed to get a state of play as well from Sony this month. Whether that'll actually happen, I don't know. It's rumor, and the guy's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a announcement for Bloodborne PS5 remaster. At this point, I think a remaster is stupid. Because they will be just dragging their feet, and it's like, look, if you're not making another game, don't do a remaster. The game was last gen. These console gens can play it. And people have had 8 years at this point to play the game. It just feels kind of moot to do it. It's not like it's Demon's Souls, where it was so early in the Souls franchise, people hadn't really figured out that the franchise was good. You know, you can't really... Now you can, thanks to the more expensive PlayStation Now stuff, but before you couldn't really play the game outside of getting it on PS3, and the game was kind of dead. You can still find people for Bloodborne. And I'm honestly sick and tired of games for this gen just being remasters. It really makes this whole gen feel like kind of a waste of time. When it's just like, hey, we remade a thing. Please pay us $70. We worked kinda hard. I mean, we had to remake everything. We didn't make anything new, but we already had the blueprint handed to us. We just had to recreate it. Stuff like that. It's like, nah, you can be paid less for that. And create new things. Then you earn the full price. A new coat of paint doesn't deserve a far increased price. But the rest of the stuff I saw, like, oh, there's gonna be an announcement for Kingdom Hearts 4. I was like, if there is an announcement for Kingdom Hearts 4, first off, they're not doing it at State of Play. Considering that is a multi-platform game, that's gonna be Game Awards. There's no way in hell. And then they're like, oh, there'll also be a announcement for Persona 6. I was like, once again, I imagine that would be a Game Awards announcement. If I were to gamble, and take big old gambles on this one, of a game I could see being announced at State of Play, it would be something like, if we're getting a Dust 514 sequel. I could see that simply because Sony had bankrolled the development of Dust. That's why it was an exclusive, is they made deals with Crowd Control Productions. Short of that, I don't know what else you really announced. I laugh at the whole, like, oh, it's gonna be for Japanese game devs. What game devs are left that Sony hasn't alienated? If anything, what we will see is maybe some stuff for Helldivers, and then it's probably just gonna be more junk of, like, when Jim Ryan was saying, oh, we're gonna have all these games as a service coming out because that's the future. That's what we're gonna get. Probably some games as a service game, because apparently we were gonna have like 6 or 8 of them by 2026, and we're still sitting on a whole heaping stack of nothing. And we're inching ever closer to 2024. I think good old Jimmy there is realizing his window is closing. Oh, that reminds me, I saw a thing. Square Enix is complaining that Final Fantasy 15? Yeah, 15 didn't sell as well as they hoped. And all I can think is, man, this was a lot easier when they could just blame the Western studios they owned, but now that they sold them all, they can't do that. And it's like, what were you expecting? You made it like a PC and PlayStation exclusive. I think it was on PC. I don't even know. I know it was on PS5 because a friend of mine bought it. I don't even know if he played it. I think he might have got it and then just kind of forgot it existed. And I'll admit, I'm not a big Final Fantasy person. I played 10, I played 10-2, I played 7. No, I didn't play 7, I played 6? One of them that you can play on the Game Boy Advanced. I played that one. I played Dirge of Cerberus. Played a little bit of 14. Played 13? Yeah, because that's the one with Lightning, who has a personality of a plank of wood. And then Hope, who made me want to punch him in the head repeatedly, because he just whined all the time. And then the dude who punches things, he was cool. I liked him. Frost, I think his name was? I don't remember, I just remember he punches things, and I enjoyed that. It was really funny, just like these dudes in combat armor and guns, and he's just like, nah, I cast fist. I appreciate guys who just punch their problems away. Except in real life, don't do that. That's bad. That can be considered assault and domestic abuse, and neither of those is a good thing. Oh, that's the exit. I just realized that. Wow. Wow. Oh yeah, so that's gonna be our last mission, because that is stupidly short. Like, plus 48% damage suffered? Yeah, we're leaving through that one. We just gotta do literally everything else, but... Oh yeah. Covert mission. Neat. But let's see what our seasonal mission's looking like. We can squeeze out a little more, probably mid next mission or next episode we'll have to do it, or it might be the end, who knows. Gear... Yeah. That's what I expected. That's fine though. What I do like seeing is that. Love seeing Archaeotech Relic Psalm codes. Get that skill point in. Oh, we're inching up. One more level. Which I can't see my current XP, but should be coming up fast. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.